Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is your host, Key Gio. Today is Thursday, 2 days after the election. Said, wow, what the New York Post put. Donald Trump, Humpty Dumpty, didn't build a wall. Could he bring back the GOP back? The New York Post, the New York Times said Donald Trump is the GOP's biggest loser, and so forth and so forth, which is true. Because, guys, before I go any further, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so. Months ago, even weeks ago, even days ago, McCarthy was saying there's going to be a red wave. DeSantis, there's going to be a red wave. You had people like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro saying there's going to be a big wave. You had everybody. You even had co-host Bill Maher said there was going to be a big wave. And there was not a red wave. It was a trickle. And not even a trickle. You know, why did the Republican Party didn't win? I'll tell you why. Donald Trump. If you see the people that lost are those who were with him and they kept spreading the fraud. They were deniers. The only one that did win was Vance, Joe Vance, some of that. He was the only one that won. But he is a different type of conservative. But for those that he endorsed, that Trump endorsed, that he was backing up, the majority of them lost. Why? Because the party, the people, the Republican people are tired of this nonsense. They're tired of him going from state to state and saying the same thing that he did 2 years ago. Nothing of his speech has changed. And those who follow him are the ones who have minds like Donald Trump. Now, you go to Georgia. The governor of Georgia, Kemp, won by a landslide over Stacey Abrams. But in the ballot, Herschel Walker was doing pretty bad. It was a split. It was a split vote. 285,000 people on his ballot did not vote for Herschel Walker. Why? Because they don't believe in the values of Herschel Walker. The 1.9 million people that voted for Herschel Walker didn't vote for Herschel Walker for the simple reason because they wanted Herschel Walker to win. Because they think that Herschel Walker is smart. Because they think that Herschel Walker has values. No. They only voted for Herschel Walker because he is the path to giving the Senate the majority. That is the only reason why Herschel Walker is in that race. You had the Republicans had better candidates than Herschel Walker. Now, you're going to see perhaps that Kemp is going to join forces with Herschel Walker. You're going to see that DeSantis is going to come up. Ted Cruz is coming up tomorrow. They're going to, you know why. They're going to try to build a fan base. But the people that voted, that didn't vote with Kemp, or that voted on Kemp's ballot, and didn't vote for Donald Trump, didn't vote for Herschel Walker, those people are not going to sway. Right? They're not going to sway. They're not going to say, you know what, I'm going to vote for Herschel Walker because of what Governor Kemp said. They're not going to do that. People are adamant and they stand firm. And you also have the third party, the independent party, that won. That man got 80,000 votes. Okay, that's a lot of votes. Now you're going to have to convince the independents. Herschel Walker is not going to convince the independents because the independent people don't like Herschel Walker. You know, Herschel Walker is not a man of his word. I mean, Herschel Walker, well, one, he can't even speak. Number two, we are all entitled. We're all entitled to a second chance in life. And if Herschel Walker is a true believer of God and is a born again Christian, he shouldn't even be running. And not because he's a Christian, he should be running, right? The reason he should be running because he lies. Okay? He lied that he didn't give money to a woman for abortion. You have a man who put out a gun on his wife, on his ex-wife. You have a man that's never spent time with his kids. So how are you, as a Republican who has values, who's conservative, want this man to represent you? Like I said, you guys don't want the representation. You just want to see. So I understand that. But for those 280,000 that didn't vote for him, that were on Kemp's ballot, that didn't vote for him, why do you think they didn't vote for Herschel Walker? Because they know that Herschel Walker is full of crap. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. He's full of crap. He's a man who's lied, who said he never paid $100. He never paid that money. Then later on, he paid. You know, most people would sympathize with him, and most people would say if he came out and he said, you know what, those are my children. Yes, I did do this. I did do that. I was young. I didn't want to be a father, and I told her to get an abortion. But I am against abortion, and I do apologize for not. That's okay. But when you go around because of your party says so, and you try to circumvent it, and say, oh, I don't know who she is, I'm gonna sue her for defamation, and you know how to do that because you know that you did it, and they come out and say, oh yeah, I know who she is, and yeah, it could have been that, and blah blah blah, or it could have been that. That makes you look like a liar. And then when you don't have your family, what your family's telling you, or telling the world that you didn't pay child, I mean that you weren't there with your kids, and you have so many kids. What is a normal person supposed to think? You're not fit to run in Congress. Here you are, you're lying to us. You never spent time with your kids. Those are not our values. That's not the Republican value. I spoke to a gentleman the other day who's been a Republican for 40 years. And he said that back then things were different. The Republicans voted, Republicans were for the people. Whichever way you want to call those people, but they were for the people. Now the Republican Party is for the party. For the party. You still have Donald Trump making fun of people. You still have Donald Trump saying, oh, the sanctimonious. That's like an insult right there, you know? And the Times says, I don't know why he didn't say anything about that, you know? You still have him, and you still have Donald Trump talking about the election. People get tired of that. Now the Republicans are talking about that if they take over the seat in the Senate, they're going to go after impeaching Biden, and they're going to go after Hunter Biden. That's a waste of time. People are getting tired of the same thing. Oh, Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden. When are you guys going to talk about fixing this country? When are you guys going to talk about helping the American people from whatever side there is? Huh? You don't. And now you have young conservatives. Now you have young Republicans. Now you have young Democrats who are progressive and who wants a better change for all, not just for one, but for all. For some people would say, their agenda is too wild for us. But hey, too wild is too. It's not too wild. I mean, sometimes you gotta aim high. You gotta aim high. Is there anything wrong with having universal health care? No. Is there anything wrong with having a better educational system? No. Is there anything wrong with protecting our children in school and giving them safety? No. Is there anything wrong with defunding the police? And by defunding the police, I mean not giving them funds that they don't need. Okay? But if you're going to defund the police, make sure that you defund them for not giving them money that they don't need, like stupid things that they don't need to use. But fund the police where you can hire competent police officers to do their job. And those police officers who are not doing those jobs, those police officers who are getting write-ups and they're not being investigated, those are the police that need to be off the force. Okay? You gotta talk about climate change. You gotta talk about universal health care. You gotta talk about crime. What are we doing about crime? You gotta talk about opiates. What are we doing about drug abuse? How are we going to help these young men and women in addiction, trying to help them to get off addiction. Every 4 years, we're always talking about the war. DACA is in limbo, right? Immigration law immigration reform should have been done years ago, 20 years ago, and it hasn't done. Why? Because they don't do it because it gives something to talk about every 4 years. It gives something to talk about the economy. It gives something to talk about this. It gives something about, you know. People talk about inflation. Inflation is everywhere. It's not just here. It's everywhere. Why don't we talk about when are they going to raise the minimum wage from $7.25? Who lives on $7.25? Huh? When are we talking about that we're going to incentivize our youth if they get their GED, if they get a vocation? I was yesterday in a gas station. This man said, you know, I guess it was his daughter, that he doesn't understand his country as to why they're supposed to pay for the student loan or give them student loan relief when it was his debt, his taxpayers' money pays for it. And I said, but don't you understand that these people, and I'm not getting involved in that, but it just gets me tired. You know that you know that senators like Major Taylor Greene and Lambert and all these, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they took out PPP loans. Some of them $1 million, some of them $3 million, some of them $500,000, some of them $100,000. And those loans were forgiven. All that money that came out from the PPP loans, that's taxpayers' money. And those were forgiven. So why don't you have why can't they have them forgiven? His daughter was like, well, I can't understand that because the government party wants them to buy a house. Will people splurge the money, not the money, the extra pocket money that they have now that they don't have to when it happens, that they don't have to pay for the student loan? Maybe they go to buy the car, or they may do something stupid. But the point is that to get that burden with those people so they can go out there and buy a car, because they can go out there and buy a house. Okay, not everybody's going to do that. I'm not talking about the money because the reimbursement, the student gets no money at all. Okay, like Herschel Walker said the other day, all the students are spending their money on this and that. This is how dumb he is. People are not spending their money because it's not money. They're not getting any money. You know, they're not getting none of that. That goes to the borrower. That's it. They're not getting paid a dime. So it's stupid as comic because he just read, you know, he Herschel Walker the other day, they asked him something about, I forgot what it was, about something about the White House. And he comes in, they keep bringing in those pronouns and nouns, and I'm tired of those nouns and nouns and nouns. You don't even know what the pronoun is. You don't even know what a verb is. You don't even know what an adjective is. Or double negative. He doesn't know none of that. But he hears something, and boom, he jumps the bandwagon. He wants to make that. He wants to make that into his agenda, and make sure that the people like him, and unfortunately have little to no brains at all, follow him and clap. But yes, a lot of Republican seats were lost because of Donald Trump, right? And Warnock, those are the people. Warnock should go after the young kids. Warnock should go after these liberals, or these independents who voted 80,000 times for an independent party. Those are the ones that you gotta get. You gotta stay strong. You gotta attack Herschel Walker. And I know probably he's not attacking back as a pastor, but you have to do it. Gotta let the people know who Herschel Walker is. Okay, and what you have done, or what you intend to do even more. Old people are getting out of the party, or people are dying, and young people are coming up. People who are voting for the first time, and this Roe versus Wade has hurt a lot of women, and that's why a lot of women went out and vote. You know, democracy was talked about the other day. The democracy won because everybody thought about this big red wave. This big red wave, there wasn't even a trickle. Wasn't even a trickle. People need to stay away. Even if Donald Trump ran for president, people need to stay away from Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is a narcissist. Pretty soon, I don't know when, pretty soon he's going to make a remark. It's going to be about me. Then he vote me, and the blah this, the blah that. The white people, they come in. That's what it is. It's all about him. If he wasn't such a narcissist, if he wasn't just about him and giving these corporate taxes to big corporations, then I would have, then I would have, because he did have some good ideas. But other than that, no. Because now those corporate taxes stay there forever. A lot of people got money, but those same people that got money starting last year, their taxes went up. And those taxes will continue to go up until 2027. That he tell you, right? The Democrats, knowing that there's a loophole in these big companies not paying federal taxes, why don't they fix that loophole? Because they know that they're investing in that company, and if they did that, then they wouldn't get their money. Plain and simple. So, there was no wave. Alright? There was no conspiracy that it was stolen. But Donald Trump hurt a lot of people, a lot of parties. So even if DeSantis was to go to Florida, to Georgia, that's not gonna do anything because those are Georgians. They're not Floridians. They have two different agendas. Even if Ted Cruz, the dumbass, goes to Georgia, a lot of people don't like Ted Cruz. But for those conservative, those independents who voted for their independent party, they're gonna basically vote for Warnock. Right? And those who didn't vote for Herschel Walker when they didn't vote in the primary, in the election with Kemp, they're going to vote for Warnock because they're smart enough. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're not going to." I don't want Herschel Walker in there because he's going to win the seat. Or we want a seat there. We want a person who's responsible. We want a person who knows what he's doing. We want a person who speaks coherently. Who's going to represent Georgia. Okay? That's what they're going to think about. Kemp's going to do it, but not Herschel Walker. So they're going to sway more to Warnock. Trust me, they're going to sway more to Warnock. Now, there been another candidate, that'll be a different story. But it is Herschel Walker. Okay? And that's the way politics is. Politics, you come up, you come and go. But for the most part, politics is a sport. Okay, you root for your team instead of rooting for the team. But what's the team doing for you? That's what matters. And so far, those Trumpers that went with Trump, they're not doing anything. So I want to say thank you to everybody who voted, both Republican, Democrat, and Independent. Keep it safe out there. Make sure that when you vote December the 6th in Atlanta, you go to Warnock. Don't listen to other people. They funded the police. No. Do your own research. Please do your own research, because if you don't do your own research, these senators and these governors and every one of them from either party is going to take you for a fool. They're going to tell you anything that you want to hear for as long as they get their vote. And vote should not be brought. Those are votes that should be earned. Not because I'm in the red party, that means you have to vote for me. My views can be different from most people. You vote for me because you think that I'm going to be the best who's going to represent you.